Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome back to the class. Welcome to this class on Monday. I hope you had a great week and let's begin. Today you're going to do or you and me we're going to be creating this what you're looking at right now. And this is a wine glass or a glass of wine. And the idea of this activity is to continue practicing the editing mode, the tools that you have learned in the previous classes, the loop cut, the extrude tool, the inset tool, and of course the modifiers, which as you know, the modifiers are just let me add a mesh. The modifiers are this little thing here, this little wrench, this little key, and you have all of these modifiers. So you're going to be learning all of that today. Okay, so let's begin. You're going to find this image, the reference image on this video. You can find it on the description of the video. Okay, so let me open a new file. That's the thing. And before we do anything, before we go forward, please go to the description on this video. There is a link. Click on the link and download the reference image that we're going to be using for this activity. Okay, so everybody uses, I want everybody to use the same image, just like the previous class. Okay, with the textures, it's going to be the same. So download that image, and once you download the image, we're going to insert the image, the reference image, the same way we did before, the same way we did on the previous class. So what we're going to do is, before we insert the reference image of the glass of wine, we have to be we have to make sure your viewpoint is on the front. Okay, you're going to insert this only in the front viewpoint, and then you're going to click on the add button, image, and then you click on the reference image. Okay, then you navigate yourself through the folders, and now I know my file is this one, and I'm going to download it. Sorry, I'm going to insert. Now, there are two different ways on which you can insert a reference image. Let me erase this cube. You can insert a reference image as a reference image, just like this, and it will always be visible even in your perspective and in your non-perspective view. Or you can, again, go on and position yourself in the front view and then go to add image and add it not as a reference but add it as a background image. Again, you select this, and when you add your image as a background image, you are selecting an image that is not going to be visible at any time. It's only going to be visible when you enter the front view, and that's what we want for this. We want to only for the image to only be visible on the front view. So as you can see, I eliminated the cube because we're not going to use a cube for this activity. What we're going to use it's a cylinder. We're going to start with a cylinder. And also, before I begin, I want to make sure that this image is not selectable. Right? I don't want to be able to select this image. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to activate this filter. If you click on this little filter here, it's going to show you all of the possible options you have for your elements in your outliner in your scene. So if you click on the eye, you make it invisible. And if you click on this arrow, it disables the selection. Now I cannot select my image. But these arrows are not there by default. You have to put them there by clicking on the filter and activating this arrow. You have to make sure this arrow is blue. Okay, and again deactivate it so it's not selected. Now it's impossible to select. That image is not going to be selected only if I go again and click here. But no, I don't want it selectable. All right, so with that out of the way, let's start creating our glass of wine. I'm going to start by adding, add mesh a cylinder. And I'm not going to do much on this cylinder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to scale it down to the widest part of my glass of wine. And of course, I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to press for this activity. I want you to use shortcuts. So I'm going to press S to scale and then Z to lock on the Z axis. Okay, and I'm going to start scaling just like this. All right. So I want to make sure that my cylinder hits the top part of the image and the bottom part of the image. Now I'm going to change my view. I'm not going to work on the solid view. I'm going to work on the mesh view, which is the first one. Remember, you have 4 views. You have mesh view, you have solid view, you have material preview, and then you have render preview. But I want to work in the mesh because I want to be my cylinder to be transparent so I can see my reference image at all times. So you must be here. So I have my cylinder. If I rotate my cylinder, it's just a cylinder, but it's elongated. It's a tall cylinder right now. Okay, so remember, almost everything we're going to do here is going to be on the front view. And when we change from the front view, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so let me adjust my cylinder a little bit because I want to make sure my cylinder is here. Exactly there. See, you see, I want my cylinder to be hitting the top at the middle and the bottom at the middle, just right there. You'll understand why in a second. So I'm right here in the middle of this area right here. This is the place where I want it. Remember, this is a reference image, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same. We are using it as a reference, and because it's a reference, it can be a little different, and it won't matter too much. Okay, so with my cylinder selected, I'm going to enter edit mode. Remember, the shortcut to enter edit mode is the tab key. So I am going to be there on edit mode and I'm going to insert some loop cuts. You have the loop cut here. This is the tool of the loop cut, or you can press Ctrl R to activate the loop cut and then duplicate many loop cuts. Duplicate the loop cuts with your scroll wheel. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loop cuts. And if I need any more later, I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to click and slide, but I don't want to slide too much, so I want to leave it exactly where it was. Okay, so this is what I have now. I have a cylinder, and this cylinder is segmented. Okay, now I have horizontal cuts, horizontal lines in my cylinder. So I'm going back to my front view. Okay, if I have it selected, it's yellow. If it's not selected, it's black. And right now, what I'm going to do next is adjust my cylinder. So I'm going to select the top row of vertex, the top row of vertices. And with the S tool, with the scale tool, I'm going to scale it down, just like that. Then I'm going to select the next row, and I'm going to scale it down, just to fit in the shape of my cap. Don't worry if this is straight and you don't see this curve, we can go and fix that later. Because right now we're going to make it just like this. We're going to select this, and again we're going to make it. Be careful not to do this. We don't want this. We don't want to cross over like this. We want to stay on the right side. If you have to click, deactivate the tool and activate it again, do it. This is what I want to do here, and this is what I want to do here. Okay, so look at that. Well, right now we almost have a really nice cup of wine. We have something that looks like a cup of wine with not many steps, right? But we are a long way from being finished. Okay, so just keep perfecting your cuts, your loop cuts. For example, right here, I think I want another loop cut, so I'm going to press Ctrl R, and I'm going to click and click, and I'm going to make it like that. Yes, and that's it. I want to keep it simple. I don't want too many vertices and too many cuts, because I want to keep this. I want to keep things a little simpler. But I'm going to make another cut in here. I'm going to make it just like that. And I think I need another one just here, because I think it's not the right fit. Okay, I like that. And of course, we're going to need another one or another two in here. Probably around this area. And I'm going to do this. And not only that, I'm going to select these ones, and with the letter G, pressing G and then Z to move in the Z axis, I'm going to move down like that. Okay, and one more thing, I'm going to do one more thing right here. I'm going to select again, and I'm going to scale down just like that. And finally, I'm going to select this, and here I'm not going to move this, I'm not going to scale this, but I want to create thickness in the base of my glass of wine. So I'm going to extrude region down a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. Just like that. Okay. So if you look at your work now, you have this. If you look at the solid view, this is what you have now. Okay. Now this looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Okay. So what's the next step? Well, as you can see, a glass of wine, it's not like this. You need to have a hollow inside. You need to be able to erase or eliminate this face right here. We're going to eliminate this face, but not now, not yet. And not only eliminate it, we have to eliminate this face to make it hollow, and then we have to create the inside of the glass of wine. It's not only erasing it, it's only creating the inside of the glass of wine, so our glass of wine can have thickness to the glass. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back again, but we're not finished with the other part. You take your time and make sure you are happy with the result of the shape, the general shape of your glass of wine. Okay, but remember, keep it simple. See how many divisions I have. I have how many segments? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They start very close together. 9, 11, uh-oh, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All I have is 15. I have 15 of my of segments, and that's all I need. I don't really need more. I don't really need too many more. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to erase the top part. I'm going to change my selection to face selection here. Select the face, press the letter X, and select the faces delete. That's it. Now my face is deleted. Okay, but as you can see, we can see through everything in my glass of wine. So if I select this face, look at that. The bottom face is selected, and if I erase it, I can see through. But that's not what I want. That's what I mean by we have to create the inside of this glass of wine. And we're going to do it with extrusions. So we're going to go back to the front view. We're going to change to the mesh view, which is right here, and select these vertices. Oh, you know what? First, from the top view. And you can change from the perfect top, just like this. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to make an extrusion. Okay. But listen, just press the letter E and don't move anywhere. Just press the letter E and then press escape. Now you have an extrusion. And then you're going to scale down that extrusion with letter S to the center. Why? So we can have this thickness. Look at this. Let me do it again from another angle, from a different angle. I just Control C. So you select everything in the top, select everything here in the top of this glass of wine. Okay, right now I am selecting. Oh no, what's happening? Oh yeah, I extruded already. Let me erase my extrusion. Let me go back. That's it. Okay, so I'm going back. I'm going to erase this face. Yes, and then I'm going to select everything here in the loop. It's just I can go like this and make the selection. Make sure you only have the top row of vertices selected. You don't need to have any other vertices selected here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the letter E and press enter or escape. Now I duplicated the same vertices that I have selected. And those vertices that are still selected, I'm going to scale it down a little bit, just like this, to the center. So I'm creating thickness to this glass of wine. Not too much, because glass is not too thick. So maybe just not like this. I don't want this. I only want a little bit of thickness, just like this. Now I'm going to change again to my front view and my mesh view. And with those same vertices selected, I'm going to press the letter E again to extrude. I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to extrude somewhere around this area. Okay, and again, extrude E, and then press the letter Z, and then again E and Z. I'm going to say Z because C is confusing with the C letter. So press E and then Z again, and then press E and then press Z again. Now in this area, I want to scale down. And what you're going to do is you're going to select the rows that you have just selected, and you're going to scale it up. So they are only barely separated from the exterior of your glass of wine. This is what I mean when I said you have to create the interior of your glass of wine. Okay, now you have something that looks like an interior glass of wine. Not completely yet, but and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select again everything in the center. And here I'm going to select all of these vertices. These vertices are the vertices I have in the center of my glass of wine, and I'm going to close the shape because right now this shape is open and I don't want that. So to do this, I'm going to extrude again, press E, then press enter, and then scale down like this, somewhere around there. Then press extrude, and then press scale again. And in this step, just leave it there. Don't close it completely. We're going to close it with a shortcut, with a process of Blender, with a tool. Just press the letter M, just like that. Just look at this. Look what I pressed. Press the letter M so you can see the merge menu and select the option at center. If you remember your vocabulary, merge means fusion. Just put together, make from everything that is selected, create only one. So we're going to merge again at center. I select at center and look at this. Look at what happened. Right now, everything is selected. Everything is merged into one single vertex, just like this. And that's exactly what I wanted. I'm not finished, not yet. I'm going to go back again, and then I'm going to select the front view, and I'm going to take that vertex down to here. And then I'm going to select this group of vertices, and I'm going to take them also down a little bit, because what I want to create is I want to create this shape. Look at this, the shape of the glass. Actually, this is not completely correct because it needs to follow this shape. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about, but yes, I'm pretty sure you have a really nice work as well. Okay, so that's it. Now you have your cup of wine. Look at the solid view, and your wine is completely closed. I'm not able to see, and you're not able to see the glass of wine all the way to the bottom because it's the interior of the glass is now finished. Okay. So the next step is we're going to use a modifier, and we're going to change the shading options. One modifier that is very useful is the subdivision surface modifier. You used it a little bit in the magnifying glass. These subdivision surface modifiers takes my geometry and multiply that geometry to make it softer, to make it look softer. So you're going to select in object mode, not in edit mode. You're going to select in object mode. Then you're going to click on the modifier panel, like this, modifier panel, and click on add modifier and select the subdivision surface modifier. Yes. And my recommendation is make sure your render is at 4 and your viewport is at 2. Now you can crank up the viewport number to 2, 3, 4, 5, but that is going to create a very slow file, and your file is going to move slowly if your computer is not strong enough. So it's not recommended to have viewport in a superior number, not superior, not more than 2. You don't need more than 2 anyway. So maybe maybe you can see the lines, you can see the small faces, but there is another trick that I haven't told you. If you right click here, you right click on the object, just with your mouse, right click, you have this object context menu. And then you have two options. The first options you see there is shade smooth and shade flat. Right now what you are seeing, it's shade flat. So if you click on shade flat, it's not going to change a thing. But if you click on shade smooth, look at what happens. That looks pretty good. Really nice, actually. Okay, really, really nice. Okay, all right, there you go. You have your glass of wine now. The next step is select the right materials. But you know what the right material is because you already did the glass materials with the magnifying glass tool. So you're going to select it, you're going to create a new material, and then you're going to take the transmission up to 1 and the roughness back to 0. And there you go. Now you have a glass of wine. Now this doesn't look super cool. We're going to fix it just right now. It's just a way of getting a general idea of what your glass of wine is. So if you want to take a look at that, not blur, not anything, okay? That is your glass of wine. Okay, all right, guys. So that is the class. That was the class today. If you have any questions about this, about how to create the cup and the glass of wine, just ask me and I will gladly answer any of your questions. If you think this tutorial is way too easy, don't worry, I have prepared extra material for you. If you have finished this in 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I have extra material and I have extra activities. If you're not finished, you focus on this object and finish it first before continuing to the next activities that I have ready for you. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Have a nice day. And again, ask me anything if you have any question. Thank you for watching.